come to order. It's June 2nd, 2025. Can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance with me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You got a few housekeeping matters to go through, just in case of anything, emergencies may happen. Welcome to tonight's zoning board meeting. Please be aware of the fire exits. They're up to your right. You can go out the front or the back stairs. In a calm and orderly fashion, go down the stairs. Please do not use the elevator. The meeting minutes are taken by the secretary for purpose of record and minutes. So please identify yourselves each time you come to the podium, and please speak into the microphone. The meeting minutes are not to be intended to be verbatim record, but only to indicate the sum and substance of the proceedings. The meeting is being recorded in ICAT department and broadcast on Spectrum Channel. Is it 1303?
Correct.
Okay. The board will follow the items in order they appear on the agenda. Extra copies are near the door. After the case has been called, the applicant and the representative shall come to the podium, identify themselves, state their address, and present their case. The zoning board members will then have opportunity to question the applicant. Then the case will be opened for public input. Anyone wishing to speak to the board regarding the application will come to the podium and identify themselves, their address, and direct all comments to the board. Once public input has been completed, the applicant or representative will be given the opportunity to respond. There are 3 topics for input: those in favor, those in opposition, and those who would just like to speak on the case. The chair will close the public hearing and continue on to the next. After all cases have been heard, the board will take a brief recess and return to deliberate each case in the order in which the applicant are still present. No further input is allowed at this point, but you may stay and listen to deliberations. If you wish to leave, you can find out the results by calling the Planning and Zoning Department tomorrow morning after 9 a.m. Please call the first case.
Thank you. First case is case number ZB 2024-06-3. Request by Land Tech acting as agent for Aljoss Properties LLC is seeking area variances for the creation of 3 non-conforming lots for the proposed construction of 3 duplexes totaling 6 units with attached garages with less than required setbacks, exceeding maximum building lot coverage and lot area, and with less than required lot width and depth on premises 5324 St. Paul Boulevard, 5334 St. Paul Boulevard, 5340 St. Paul Boulevard, and 8 2nd Street in a C business district.
Good evening, everyone. John Sharaba with Land Tech. My office is located at 1105 Ridgeway Avenue, and I'm representing the applicant this evening.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
So the board may remember this project. We were here early in 2024, came to the board informally. The project was different back then when you saw it. At that time, I think we were proposing 12 units on this property, 2 stories, and a lot more density. I think there was garages. But we took a step back from that meeting. We had to make application to the town board for a special permit. That permit was, we had a public hearing last month, and that special permit to allow a multifamily residential development in the C district was granted by the town board. At that point, we took public input, actually modified the plan a little bit. Heard a lot from the public about what they don't want to see down there. But what we have tonight for you is this property is a total of 4 lots currently. We're going to combine those, modify those lot lines, and build 3 buildings on 3 lots. These will be duplex buildings, so 2 units per block per building, so a total of 6 units. Each unit will have its own garage. Some of the input that we got based on the town board meeting is people were worried about, what do you have visitors? So we've added some off-street parking, visitor parking to the site plan, try to alleviate some of those issues. But the issues still remain, and why we're here are setbacks. Somerville are very small lots, very tight community down there. And in my opinion, is any development on these lots, be it if it was commercial development or any kind of new development, would require about the same amount of variances we're asking. So what we've done is we've pushed these buildings off of St. Paul to allow in the sidewalk, got them close to St. Paul, but we have enough room where a car can park safely on the private property and not be backed in the public way. We did that also too on Somerville Drive and on Second Street. So those are, you know, the real reasons why these buildings are laid out that way. So you have access for a parking lot to get to your site. We try to maintain 10-foot separation from all property lines, which we've done, although that does not meet code. We're slightly over the lot coverage requirement, and that's natural because we're dealing with about 4/10 of an acre of property. So it's a very small site, but what we're proposing is very unique. So my client is taking great strides to try to change and soften the plan. So these are some renderings of what we're looking at. They are two-story, but he has a mixed use of architecture. He doesn't want to be a cookie cutter development, but he's really taking a lot of time and pride in some of the treatments that he wants to do. I know a lot of these elements are what the planning board is going to look at if we are fortunate to make it to that point. But he just wants to be a good member of the community. You know, this change of use being residential, I think, is a good use for this property. If it was still C commercial, if the Anchor Inn was still there, I think the impacts to the property, to the neighbors, would be greatly increased. We received some comments that Michelle was kind enough to share with us, and I'm sure you have them. You know, traffic related to, they brought up the new brewery down the street. You know, that has impacted their lives. If this we could have 4 different commercial uses with these properties. So I think the residential development that my client is proposing is the best thing for the neighborhood. I think it's in the character of the neighborhood. So then I'll go into the points that we're talking about this evening. So the proposed variances, granting these variances, will not have a physically negative impact on the neighborhood. All these houses are very close together. 10-foot side setback is big in some of these instances in this neighborhood. And so I don't think any physical changes are going to be imposed by granting these variances. The other issue is, are they in the character of the neighborhood? As I said, this development is really fits the neighborhood. All the small lots down there, the former tent sites and things like that. So it is in the character of the neighborhood. Is it significant? I don't think the variances we're requesting are significant. I think they are in the character of the neighborhood. I think they fit the site. And in future plans, if we're able to go to the planning board, we'll also show other amenities and other calming things: landscape plan, lighting plan, drainage plan. I know that's not the purview of this board, but we hope to work with the planning board in the future with those issues. And it is self-created, as I said, but with this, any development down there will require variances. So I think in all that our requests are moderate, and I think that the board agrees with us. And I also hope that the board sees that my client has reduced his density about 50% from what you saw back in 2024. So we want to continue to work with the town. It's been a very good working relationship, and we hope that you see fit to grant the variances, and I can try to address any questions you have at this point.
It's even lower now, too, the buildings, right, from originally?
Yes, I think we're still 2-story,
Yeah,
but before I think they had a big cupola or something
Yeah.
like that on those prior renditions.
and I see you increased the parking. Is there anywhere to increase any more, do you know, or what are you gonna look at?
It's a double-edged sword in our mind. So if we created, like, for example, we put a parking spot here off St. Paul, I think that we'd create problems with people not in this development parking there. So we can, I take your request in the future and do some more of that. It does knock down our impervious area, so it's going to increase our lot coverage because if we have to count for the blacktop. But, you know, it's something that we're aware of. We're hoping that this is going to be more of a walking community and long-term tenants. This is not set up for VRBO or anything like that, short-term rental. He wants people to be here and live here for years. So, but, you know, familiar with the bus route that's there and things like that, hope people can take advantage of that. That's gone? It's gone? Okay.
Us? Anybody else got any questions?
I have a few concerns, if I may.
Sure.
And maybe you have addressed them on hand, I just can't see them. The first is parking for visitors. I'll just throw them out and then you can, first is parking for visitors, and another one is garbage containers, and another one would be, the dumpsters, and snow, where's you gonna pile the snow?
All right, so I could try to attack them. So you're 100% correct. The plan that you have, that we had to submit 30 days in advance, doesn't show the slight modifications that I've created. So we've added additional parking here between these units that you don't have. We've also added on each side of this building. We did not add anything on this building because that's St. Paul Boulevard. That is a county road, and as we all know, it's highly traveled, and we're trying to minimize our curb cuts on that. You mentioned garbage. We're not proposing a dumpster. These will use totes. So they could put it in the garage, or we'll have to come up with some other feature, and that gets a good point if we're gonna work with the planning board. So they are gonna be totes, no dumpster. And I think does that get to all your questions? You're welcome.
I'm just wondering, are these rental units, and how many bedrooms per unit?
So there's 2 and 3 bedroom units there, and these are for rent. Yeah, so that they haven't gone through the full geometry of the plan, but they are gonna be 2 and 3 bedroom units. They are for rent,
How
but
many
they are
two
gonna,
and how many three?
I don't have that exact number for you. Do you have a rough number, Sal?
No, I think that we're kind of balanced.
Sal, can you step up to the microphone, please? Thank you.
Let me see that.
I'm Sal Stalteri, the owner of the property. I reside in Gilmore Road in Brockport.
Al, right hand, you swear and affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I'm sorry, I think I threw out snow. What are we doing with the snow? I'm sorry.
Let me answer those. So it's just a normal residential driveway. Sal is gonna be the owner, so he's gonna take care of the snow plowing, for the tenants. So he'll be doing that. He does own, that's part of his business. He currently operates as he does that kind of work in the winter. So he'll be
just-
maintaining that. We do have room to push snow, in all aspects. We can push it back here between them, off to the side. I think we have plenty of room, for snow.
You have plenty of room to pile the snow up?
I believe so.
Can I answer? It'd be no different than a residential home, backblade onto the owned property of the residents. Just like every house that would be getting the driveway plowed. Or a snow blower, it's put on the property of it that's owned by it. No, it wouldn't go on the street, wouldn't be in any right of way, and no public ways.
Would that take up some of the parking space for the
No,
visitors?
it would not be, it gets put onto the lawn in the winter, and then when it melts, if there's any lawn damage, we repair that, But it will not take any parking space.
How many units did you have in the original proposal?
I believe there were 10.
10?
So going back to your point about the number of bedrooms, so in land development like this, we have an architect that we have on staff for conceptual drawings. They haven't gone to full architectural drawings yet because of the issues of getting, number one, the special permit from the town board and the variances. So our next application, if we're fortunate to go to the planning board, would be, bringing the architectural plans, the full site plan. So if we want to limit, he's a businessman, he wants to, have a good mix and make sure this is a successful project. So there will be no studios, but if we could say 1 3-bedroom unit per building, would probably be max. So you're looking at 4 3-bedroom units.
And just this building here, that's what I'd be on Somerville
Excuse me.
Drive, this would be ADA compliant. It would be an ADA compliant building.
Excuse me, 3, yeah. I misspoke, sir. I think it'd be 3 3-bedroom units per building, and the other one would be 2-bedroom.
Okay, so each building is gonna have 1 3-bedroom,
And 1
1
2-bedroom.
2-bedroom. Okay, well, I'm not about to try to dictate what you do, I'm just asking the questions because.
No, I think it's a good
that's-
question.
It's one of the concerns that the neighbors will have about the parking and the number of cars and such, and that's part of the reason. why
Yeah.
it's the way-
Well, I can tell you, and I know that we're gonna go through this a lot with, that we're not gonna park off the street parking. That's not allowed. So that's why we have plenty of room for that. And he also can control, that with his rental. He can make sure that it shows in this lease that you only have this one parking spot with the one in your garage. So you have two spots in every unit. So you have one in the garage and one outside the garage.
Anybody else have any more questions? If not, I'll open it up to the gallery. All those in favor of, please come up. All those opposed, please come up and speak.
Can we see the plan? Because we haven't seen it.
I didn't know you were talking about the gallery meeting us. I'm in favor of that.
Yes. Yep.
I didn't understand the gallery. I'm Diane White, and I'm at 873 Washington Avenue. We used to have a bar there, and that bar created a lot of problems. And so I consider this to be something that's very, very positive for the community. When I look at the problems that we're having now down in that area, they're primarily caused by a bar/restaurant that's down there. I don't feel that something that's positive to the neighborhood should be penalized by the fact that there is, a popular bar/restaurant right down the street. That becomes his problem. He needs to control that. And there's a big, huge parking lot that runs right along the river that's open to the public, and if he needs to let his patrons know that they can't park on those side streets. That's not this guy's problem. That's the owner of the restaurant's problem. As far as the design, I think the design is great. I looked at the actual drawings, not these ones, but the actual drawings that he submitted earlier, and I consider this to be a great improvement for the area. And if he loses this and he ends up having to sell it, we may end up with another bar, and that's the last thing that I want to see in that neighborhood. So thank you.
Anybody else want to speak in favor of? If not, anybody speak in opposition, please come up to the microphone.
Still haven't seen the plan. I don't know.
Can we look at it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because we don't know what the change in parking was or the change in the buildings, what that looks like.
That's not the current plan.
One more back.
Flip it back one.
Thank you.
That's the old one.
Thank you for that. Lynn O'Brien, 5284 St. Paul Boulevard, 163 Lakefront. I am opposed to the plan as it's been projected. It does not fit in the character of the neighborhood. 14617 zip code is one of the hottest in the country, and we don't have housing available. In that neighborhood, we have a lot of apartments available. We have a lot of rentals. If you go up to Washington, you go up Rock Beach Road, there are several apartment units. In addition, I don't have any problem when the Anchor Inn was there or with the new bar. That's not an issue, other than that they park on both sides of St. Paul Boulevard. This being permanent housing without adequate parking is going to be a huge problem. Any of us who grew up in Arundecoit who have piggyback parked know that doesn't work. When you park in front of the other car and one of you needs to leave for work, you get sick of that real fast and one of you stops parking in the driveway so that that garage person can get out. Parking will be an issue. We've just had a garbage truck hit a car parked on Somerville about 3 weeks ago because there's no room to maneuver. People park how they park. And I think it was facing the wrong direction. But The bar people, I haven't noticed them parking on the side streets. I definitely see them parking on St. Paul Boulevard. In addition to the parking, my concern would be beach access. I was not able to look up the deeds to see which of those deeds, if any of those deeds have access and where that access to the beach is, and how that will be conveyed to the tenants. If you look at the current house that's standing there, I would be concerned in the future for how that property will be maintained. Thank you.
I'm Katha Pattison, 151 Lakefront, which is the last house on Somerville Drive. Again, Arundecoit, especially our zip code, West Arundecoit, people love to build or own a home and send their kids to Arundecoit schools. But rentals are people that rent. They don't care about the property. They don't care about anything except for themselves and their attitude. We have a few, very few, good renters in the neighborhood. Most of them could care less. There is no beach rights at the end of Somerville Drive. We have gone to court more than once. The town lawyer from years ago should have that in the records of the town. There are no beach rights at the end of Somerville Drive. It's our property and our neighbor's property at 137 Lakefront. But we have proven, and people just ignore you. They say, "Too bad, lady," and they walk on through, and it causes problems. The police have worked with us many times to come down there. People want to party on the beach, especially teenagers. It's not allowed. Renters are renters. They don't care about their property. They don't care about the neighborhood. All they want to do is go to work and have fun. This is not part of what we need 6 more renters. We need a beautiful home or a beautiful place for people to go that's not rentals. Again, sewers are a problem, flooding's a problem. It isn't a flood zone. Luckily, the lake is staying fairly low. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Nancy Griffin. I live at 15 2nd Street. In my opinion, Somerville is a unique area of West Arundecoit with an abundance of small lots. And to switch this over and put 6 ugly duplexes on this lot of what is it, four on 4 lots, and 6 garages on 4 lots. That's too much. It's way too much stuff on that little piece of property. And I hope you don't follow through and approve their requests for setbacks and maximum building coverages, because it's just too crowded. And also, the one request that everybody's made on Somerville Drive and 2nd Street is not to put a driveway out onto the street. They're little dead-end streets, narrow, and it's a problem just for the residents that are there now. And so if there's any exits from this property, they should go out onto St. Paul. And also, I don't know if you got a copy of it. When he put in the first proposal, this one's not much better. We circulated a petition around the neighborhood. And I think it's, yeah, 58 signatures we turned in against this. So it's a small lot, and to put two-story buildings and all these garages. Second Street, there isn't a house on the street that has a garage. Not because we wouldn't like one, but we don't have room. And he doesn't have room either. So, I'm just hoping you will side with us, because it's a nice area with a lot of nice people, and people seem to be fixing up their landscaping and that, and there's some on Somerville that are just stunning. So I guess that's all I got to say. Is I hope this doesn't get approved. Because to me, the only thing that would be acceptable would be to put a single-story, two-bedroom house and 2 or 3, I don't know how much would fit, going out onto St. Paul. And that would be ideal for the residents of Arundecoit who are looking to downsize. And they would probably fit in very well in the neighborhood. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak in opposition? Seeing,
Didn't really want to come up and talk, but I'm against.
can you name your,
Oh,
give
I'm
us your
sorry,
name and
Pat
address?
Farr, 5347 St. Paul. I mean, the key is the property should be developed in some way, but it should be developed in a way that's appropriate for the neighborhood. And it's understandable for developers to want to maximize the profit of the development. But if you were developing with the idea of what is right for the neighborhood, it would be smaller. Smaller than this, not just smaller than what they did before, because the first thing any developer does is they put as much on there as possible, because they know when they come to a board meeting or a planning meeting, the push is going to be to shrink it. So you maximize, and then it gets shrunk to where you probably thought it would be best for you anyways. But for the neighborhood, it's not a multifamily property. It would be for a single-family property. There's, that's obvious from the lot size, and there's really not much more to say than that. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. John, would you like to come back up and rebut a little?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Can we close the public hearing? I'm sorry.
I gotta close it
Yes.
now first?
Yep, before the applicant response.
This is my third time doing this, so give me a little bit of a break. At this point, then we close in the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I took notes as the public came up and spoke in favor of this. Obviously, we like Diane White's direction. Obviously, it has a long history in the neighborhood. We all remember the Anchor Inn, we remember the Sly Fox, and I can't, for one, believe that a residential development is going to have a greater impact on the neighborhood than another bar down there. Even the comments you received from the public pointed out the issues with another bar. And then to that point, and what's allowed to go there today, and we're not asking for a use variance, but we could do a funeral home, a fire station, a barber shop, a travel agency, a convalescent home. These are all allowed by the C code, and I could go on. What we're saying is we know the neighborhood. It's a residential neighborhood, so we don't want to have any commercial use there. We are, and I believe the town board is in favor of that by granting us that special permit. The housing stock, we're very familiar with it. I've read the comp plan. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it, and this is right in line with the comprehensive plan that's been adopted by the town of Arundecoit for the housing stock. They need a mix of apartments, duplexes, single-family homes, because there's a need out there. We are not asking for a variance for parking. We meet the code. We understand their need, and if the board feels right that they gotta make a condition of approval that no off-street parking, we're fine with that. We're making changes to that, and if I can squeeze another parking spot on this plan for the site plan, we go to the planning board, we'll do the best we can. I believe that this isn't a character neighborhood. These are small lots. There are small lots all down there. You know, and we are looking at ways to park. You know, we have, you know, we're not asking for approval for rentals. This is an allowed use there. Again, we're not asking for any kind of use variance. We're not even talking, we've never brought up beach rights, so we're not exploring that. We don't know what that is, but we have no intention of having our clients have full access down there. Sewers, they mentioned sewers. That's a Public Works. Public Works is aware of this project. They have not given any impact yet because we haven't sent anything as far as a site plan, but we look to it in the future. One person mentioned that this is ugly. I think it's not. I think that the housing style that he's trying to create, it's not the same. He's got 3 different styles. I think, in my opinion, it's beautiful, and it'll be an asset to the community. Gentleman mentioned about, you know, trying to stuff too much stuff in here, and, you know, developers want everything they can. Well, this developer tried to make the Sly Fox. He's owned it since the Anchor Inn, and he's owned it when Sly Fox was there. He couldn't make a go of it. Those facilities couldn't pay their rent. So he is a businessman, but he's also a realist. So now he has these properties that he has other properties in Arundecoit. That one house, that is a depressed house that's there. That's not the proposed plan. That house will go away. As soon as we start construction of one site, that house will be the next thing to go down. He wants to be prideful in this. And I think the other thing that the board should be aware of, you have one point of contact. You're not having 6 or 4 different property owners. It's going to be this gentleman. Hey, if your garbage is not picked up, the town will have one point of contact. Access to the, you know, parking down there, I mean, I could show you pictures how it looks today. I mean, it's a self-created hardship. This is both 2nd Street and Somerville. There's, you know, the town of Arundecoit's a very busy town. They have a lot, code enforcement has a lot of stuff to enforce. They can't regulate that. That's a headache. There's cars parked in the road, there's cars parked in the right of way. But as a condition approval, we're not proposing to have any new off-street parking. We want to be a benefit and an asset to the neighborhood. I think Sal will be. And we hope the board, these variances we're asking for are minimal. They're not, you know, if you go down there, if you look at the site plan, we have a building that's less than 4 feet off our property line to the north. That's existing. We're going 10. So we understand what code is, but we also know that we want to develop a good plan that works, and we want to be good neighbors. So I think this is a less obtrusive plan. We're not asking for parking variances. The only variances are for setbacks and anything you do here. And again, we're going back. We have 4 lots. We're going down to 3. We're going to subdivide this and create these lots. So, I mean, right now, someone could buy these 4 lots and put 4 different projects there and come to this board for variances, and your kind of hands are tied because they're pre-existing non-conforming. I think this is a good plan for the neighborhood. I think it'll be well, and the town will be able to regulate it. So that's all I wanted to add.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just wanted to give the names of the 2 people who sent letters in opposition as well.
Oh, okay.
And it was Felix Churkin and Katie Caruso. They were both opposed to this. They sent a letter.
I have them here. Thank you.
think we can move to the next case.
I was actually typing this, but I was gonna. Nope, wait a second.
Sorry, I'm just catching up. Okay, next case on the agenda is case number ZB 2025-06-1. Request by Adam Tillier is seeking area variances for the construction of a new single-family dwelling with less than required front and rear setbacks and exceeding maximum permitted lot coverage on premises 28 Madison Terrace in an R2 residential district.
Adam Tillier, I live at 560 List Avenue in Arundecoit.
Swear and affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I am here to ask for a couple variances that have to do with front and rear setbacks of 28 Madison Terrace. So I purchased a home that was on that about a year ago, and that house was in distress. I got a demo permit and went through the whole asbestos testing and everything and tore that house down. And then knowing that I would like to build another home there. I have some experience in the neighborhood. I purchased 36 Madison Terrace. I think it was in 2001. It could have been 2002. But then I came to the town and asked for a variance as well for that location to put a single-family home, which I was approved seven yeses and 0 nos. The lot that I have at 28 Madison is the exact same size of 36 Madison Terrace, 40 feet wide, 100 feet long. And town code states that you can have a 30-foot setback and a front setback and a 30-foot rear setback, with also 5-foot setbacks on the left and right side. The variance that I asked for previously and tonight, which is the exact same variance, is I would like to have the front be reduced from 30 feet to 25 feet 6 inches, and the rear setback to be reduced from 30 feet to 20 feet, giving me the buildable area for a house to be 30 feet wide by 54 foot 6 inches deep. I'm sure you guys are able to drive down the street. You can see the house that I'm currently building at 36 Madison Terrace. I'm looking to build a house that's exactly the same size footprint as that house. I think it fits the neighborhood. They are very tight down there. But I think there's a big draw for single-family homes that are 2 bedrooms in that area, and houses that are built to the new building code, which is more energy efficient, safer, and to give these houses full driveways with garages, because there is a parking issue down there. Madison Terrace is actually pretty wide compared to some of the other streets to the east, but the houses that were there on 36 and 28, they were on the front property line. They were like 10 feet from the road. So when I tore them down, I'm asking to now have a front setback of 25 feet, which gives almost enough room for 2 small cars. But I just think it's going to be better for the neighborhood in general. I'm asking also for a lot coverage variance, and that's just because the lot's so small, it's 40 by 100. It's kind of hard to fit a 2-bedroom house with a garage in an area that's 40 feet deep. That's why I need that extra 14 feet wide, or in depth. So the smaller lot has caused me to have a greater percentage of coverage on the lot. But I think previously when I asked for 36, might have been a different argument, because there wasn't really known to what it was going to look like or how it was going to affect the neighborhood. But if you could look at the house I'm building currently at 36, it kind of gives you a perfect example of how 28 Madison would fit on the lot, because it would be the exact same size. That's it for right now. I don't know if there's anything else that I need to cover that you guys have questions for, but
It was a single story too, right?
36 Madison Terrace is a single story, yeah. I'm not asking for a height variance or a height variance or a story variance. I'm just asking for, you know, what size the house is, so.
And you got the garage is built into the house.
The house is, yeah, the garage would definitely be built into the house at 28 Madison, yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
You said 36 is a single-story house?
Yes, it is.
I had the impression it was more than that when I went up there today.
So it is a 9.5-foot ceilings in that house. The front door is 8 foot tall.
Oh, okay.
So it's a single story. It just gives a smaller house a greater feel when you walk into it. But yeah, it's single story. It's 1,280 square feet. With a 12-course basement too, so that's the other thing that's nice. And it will be for sale soon if you guys are looking.
Any other questions? Andre, see? No? Thank you. Oh,
I have one more question. You just said that 36 is going to be for sale
Yep.
when it's complete. Are you planning on the same thing with 28?
Yes.
And so you're going to sell it, and whoever buys it might or might not rent, but that's not you doing anything like that.
If somebody purchases the house from me and they want to rent that house, that's up to them.
Okay.
Like any other house in Arundequoit.
okay, thank you.
Thanks.
So we close this now. You can open up the public hearing, see if anyone has anything to say.
Is anybody here in favor of this? Anybody in opposition of this? Anybody just wants to talk to us? If not, we'll close this application.
All right.
Okay, next case is case number ZB 2025-06-2. Excuse me, request by John Worthington seeking a special use permit to harbor 6 hens with coop pursuant to Town Code 235-70 on premises 2555 Titus Avenue Extension in an R1 residential district.
State your name and address.
John Worthington, 2555 Titus Avenue Extension, Arundequoit, New York, 14467.
Raise your right hand. You swear and affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So my wife and I last year moved to the property we're on now. It's half an acre, and it's down by the bay, so a lot of the land actually is quite sloped and a forest area. We have a daughter, and we would like to have 6 hens on our property. We've looked through the plans, all of the requirements for special use zoning permit, and are going to follow all the requirements. We talked to our neighbor next door too, made sure that was okay with them, and we would like to house the hens for the purpose of having our own like egg production. I just found like a natural egg production there, and then also educational purposes. We're excited to, as we grow a family, to just have like a simple understanding for them on where the process of food, how that works, and having that in our backyard. We will keep them in a secure coop, so they will not be allowed to leave the contained area. We're meeting all the requirements of the 2 feet underground, of the side of the chicken wire. In here, it says that the run will not have a cover, but after consulting a friend of mine who has a lot of time with chickens is going to help me with it, I have decided to put a cover over that in the back. So that's going to be just chicken wire. So with the 6 hens, it'll be 24 square feet at a minimum for the birds inside the coop, and at a minimum 60 feet for the run. The run will probably be a little more, like 100 square feet. Again, the property slope, it's in the back, so you're not able to see it from the road. The only road that you'd be able to see it from, if you looked over your shoulder at the right time, is what I've heard is the last gravel road in the county. I'm not sure if that's the right fact, but that's what I've heard. So we are going to be creating it with a friend who's had chickens for a long time, grew up with it, and has helped other people as well in other areas. So we want to follow all the requirements. I can go through the document. I don't think I have anything else that's needed to be shared outside of what is in the packet.
So you're gonna, the run, you're gonna cover that too then?
Yes, after hearing the likeliness of the lifespan of a hen in that area, if the run's not covered, I was convinced to.
Because there's,
But,
there's a lot of foxes, hawks,
Yes,
everything flying
yep,
over.
exactly.
You'd be better off if you did cover it.
So we're just gonna run a cover over that, and yep.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple, if you don't mind. How you doing?
Very good.
The Roman area, you realize you have to put the wire 2 feet underground during the entire Roman area, correct?
Yes, sir.
If I look at your plans here, it look like you have, where you have to dig down, you got a lot of root area back there. It's gonna, what do you plan to dig that with, a ditch width or something?
So, from when I read the plans, it said that the 2-foot apron has to be under the ground with the 2 feet. But from what I recall from reading it, it doesn't necessarily have to be vertical. It has to be under the ground, but with at least 2 feet of it. So we're planning on having the 2-foot apron that goes under, but probably at an angle under the ground that goes out from the coop or out from the run, but yet still goes underground. So we will have to work through how to dig that properly, but we will have the 2-foot apron that goes.
I'm not sure the way that reads, if it should be straight down 2 feet or if you can put like it on a slant or something.
Yeah,
It's from previous requests we've had for this, as I recall, they've all had fencing
Straight
going
down.
vertically 2 feet down.
vertically 2 feet down. Okay.
Yes. That's to keep the animals from crawling underneath it.
That's right.
Yes. Yep.
Right. So if you have that apron, that might be easier for them to manipulate.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have the requirements on me right now, but we can, if that's a requirement, we can
So,
work through the necessary.
so board, just to clarify, the normal condition for outdoor structures enclosed with fencing, wire mesh, the wire mesh fencing should be buried 2 feet below ground to prevent the access to the enclosed area where animals are kept, or an apron of 2 feet is usually the condition that is added onto special use permits.
So we would do the apron likely, where we would put it underground, 2 feet of the fence at a minimum, but would likely, in some cases, might not be exactly vertical.
You said you might go vertical, but you might want to go this way too.
So the plan right now is to put the apron under the ground and having the minimum of 2 feet. But as I said, or the apron, since it would be, so the fence would come down to the ground, and as the chicken wire is flexible, it will be 2 feet of length at an angle that is underground as an apron that comes out, but not necessarily straight down. And as that happens, any animal that will come against the fence, they'll start to dig down straight, and at which point they'll hit the fence because there's a whole 2-foot apron that's there.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? If none, I'll open it up to the public. Is anybody here to speak in favor of this application? Anybody else here? Anybody here to speak in opposition to this application? Anybody here to talk to us about chickens? If not, we'll close the meeting, and we will take a short recess until,
Close the public hearing.
close the public hearing. Thank you, dear. And take a short recess until 8 p.m. And let's see. Get over to my sheets. Is any hit? This is. What is the number for this one? ZB. First one for St. Paul, ZB 2024-06-3. Has anybody want to make a motion?
So before we make any motions on this, I spoke with town staff, and this project is an unlisted seeker action. Because that's the case, we have prepared for you all tonight a short environmental assessment form, wherein wherein we propose that this project would result in a minor environmental impact on the community, and therefore a negative declaration is warranted. So if you all would like, I can go through some of the environmental impacts and findings that we made for this particular project, and from there you all can vote on whether to issue, on what declaration to issue for this project. All right, I'll read them through. So part 2 of the short environmental assessment form, and just to go back a bit, the applicant did submit part 1 of the short environmental assessment form for this project. Number 1 for part 2, the question is, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? We have answered no, or small impact may occur. Question 2, will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of the land? No, or small impact may occur. 3, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No, or small impact may occur. Question 4, will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No, or small impact may occur. 5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No, or small impact may occur. 6, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No, or small impact may occur. 7, will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies or public-private wastewater treatment facilities? No, or small impact may occur. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No, or small impact may occur. 9, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora and fauna? No, or small impact may occur. 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No, or small impact may occur. 11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No, or small impact may occur. From there, we turn to part 3 of the short environmental assessment form, and this is where we recommended that this board issue a negative declaration under seeker for this project. Our reasoning is as follows. The Irondequoit Town Zoning Board of Appeals has determined that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. This determination is based on the following findings. The project is located within the C Business District, where multifamily residential development is a specially permitted use, and the proposed development is not in conflict with the town's comprehensive plan. The proposed construction of 3 duplex units will not significantly alter the intensity of land use within the area, as the surrounding district contains a mix of commercial and residential properties. The development is expected to generate a minor increase in local vehicular traffic, and existing infrastructure has adequate capacity to accommodate the development. The site does not contain wetlands, critical environmental areas, or other sensitive natural habitats, nor does the project involve hazardous materials, emissions, or activities that could pose a health risk to residents. The variance requests are not substantial due to the existing configuration of the land use area, are situated close together, and do not meet current codes. Any development within this area would be significantly impacted by current codes. So with that read into the record, I will pass it back to you, Chairman, to vote on your secret declaration for this project.
I make a motion that we approve the unlisted action negative declaration. I have a second.
Second.
Brad. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Now, does anybody want to make a motion as far as to the application itself? If none, I make I vote to approve the application as it's been presented there is a number of setbacks, square footage, and on the three different building lots that we need to cover. There's also a square footage for the building and the lot, the maximum building size for the lots. So with all those, I guess with the application, as far as the way it's been sent in here, that's what's in front of us as far as what it's gonna be. Yes, there's gonna be some significant setbacks with less area. There's gonna be, I don't know if there's gonna be any physical or environmental things in the neighborhood. I don't know if alternatives are not requiring a variance would be if it was a bigger lot, actually. It's still gonna be residential in the neighborhood. It's gonna be a little different design, a little newer than what's in the area, which I think is gonna bring it up a little bit. I don't think it's gonna have an effect on the physical or environmental. It's a self-created, because that's the way the lots are. It's self-created by the owner of the lot, and he's limited to what he can and can't do there. So I make a motion that we approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Okay, next case is Madison. Thank you. Anybody want to make a motion on this case, which is ZB 2025-06-1?
This is a type 2 action under seeker.
Yes, and type 2 action under seeker.
I'll make a motion that we approve the variances. We have granted this particular individual variances before for a adjacent property. He's doing a service to the neighborhood by actually demolishing a dilapidated house and wants to rebuild a nice new property there. It's not going to have any environmental impacts. The variances it's a substantial request, but in order to build a adequate home there, you're going to need that kind of space. So based on those reasons, I think we should approve the variances.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. And the last one. Yeah, I got it here. The next one is for ZB 2025-06-2. It's a special use permit for harboring hens, and that's also a type 2 action. Anybody? And do you know all the stuff about it? Because I'm going to read them off, actually, which I should have done. You're allowed to harboring of 6 hens for a 5-year period with no replacements, hens and no roosters. Annual inspection by town staff with no advance notice. For outdoor structures enclosed with fencing, wire mesh, the wire mesh fencing should be buried 2 feet below the ground to prevent access to the enclosed area where the animals are being kept, or apron of 2 feet. Coop and run to be at least 4 feet from any property lines. Coop must be maintained and clean. Food is to be stored indoors and sealed in containers, and subject to waste be properly disposed of. So you understand all that? You okay? Okay. So that motion carried.
Need a second?
Oh, where am I? I thought what I did was Madison. Who did the first one? You did, Lou? For this? For the Madison? No, for this one. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move it with those conditions.
Okay. Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Motion carries.
Can I say anything about this?
Do you want to?
Why I voted no?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, in the paperwork here, you stated that you're gonna provide 4 square feet per bird. And there's one spot where it says that the coop will be 3 feet wide and 8 feet long, which would give you exactly 24 square feet, which is needed. But then, on the last page, it says the coop is gonna be 3 feet by 6 feet long, which is only 18 square feet. And so that's inconsistent, and I think we're still confused about the 2 feet down into the ground with the wire, and so that's why I said no. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. And there's no further business.
There's a set of minutes that I received.
Yes.
Oh, those were handed out tonight. I apologize.
You guys want to review the minutes for a second, and then we'll see about approving them? Did we close the meeting first, too, right after this?
Yep, right after this weekend.
Okay. You guys are all set. Anybody got any questions on the minutes?
Ma'am, we're still
We're still in session
having a
here.
meeting.
Oh,
We're still having, the meeting isn't done yet.
oh, okay.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve them.
Second? Lou?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. With that,
I missed who made the motion and who seconded.
I made the motion.
Greg,
Who seconded? I'm sorry.
Lou.
Thank you.
And with that, we can close the meeting for June 2nd, 2025, and I'm sorry for all the confusion if I
Need
had
a
any.
motion.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'm sorry. See, all the confusion. I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.